Well, you have arrived. No more mailers, no more text messages, soon no more lawn signs. You, the voters, have spoken, and many of you said you are ready to pay more to get more. Across the state, several cities are getting ready to increase their local sales taxes or extend them to pay for new projects because you said yes to doing that on the ballot. In the metro, that includes voters in St. Paul, Golden Valley, Bloomington, and Edina. Mounds View had a new sales tax on their ballot as well, but the voters there said no. Now, for the ones saying yes, it's a change in what we're used to, with more saying yes, that we will pay more. And tonight, Kent is breaking down how all of this has recently shifted.
Whether it's being used for road repairs in St. Paul or a new public safety building in Golden Valley, the local option sales tax has been gaining more and more approval from cities and voters in recent years.
Years ago, there were maybe only about 4 or 5 cities.
A decade ago, Bruce Schwartow and his team at the University of Minnesota Extension Office first helped the city of Brainerd forecast the impact of an expanded local sales tax to fund water infrastructure and trails. And he says the success of that tax led to dozens more reports every year since.
Fergus Falls, Litchfield, Carleton County, Edina, Grand Rapids, Itasca County, Maple Grove, Staples, Oakdale. There's probably 15 to 20.
Just in 2023?
Just in 2023.
Are you surprised at how many of these taxes have passed?
I guess I'm not surprised. I think it's kind of that feeling, well, yes, I wouldn't mind sharing the cost with someone else.
You get asked to do the forecasting. How often do you go back and look and say, oh, this was accurate or this might have been way off?
We've been, I think, surprisingly accurate, but I will say it's always going to be an estimate because every year the amount of sales change, where people are buying can change.
Speaking of that, Bruce says data has shown in most communities sales tax increases do little to impact buying habits. But as we just saw with Mounds View, one of the few to see an increase rejected on the ballot, cities still have to convince voters to buy in.
Are the expenditures we're making, do they have real high public value? And they need to be able to communicate that.
Interestingly, Bruce says he's not sure whether Minnesota is any kind of outlier with so many of these local sales taxes passing on Election Day. But he says one aspect that could make them more popular here is that just like our state sales tax, they do not apply to clothing and food in Minnesota. Jana.
Kent, I thought what Bruce said right there at the end was the most important in terms of messaging. You have to make the voter understand what they would be getting for their 1-cent tax, right?
Yeah, you do. And he said that's why a lot of times these are focused on those things that we all share costs in, especially if you're not just living in a certain area. That'd be those roads and those public service buildings that really everyone needs. Then he said the argument is easier to make, and everyone wants to make sure that people who use it pay.
Makes sense. Thanks so much, Ken.